We now know. All right, Woodman, brother.
How you doing, brother?
How you doing? I'm doing all right. Not bad, not bad.
Fantastic.
All right, lots going on, isn't there?
Oh, you know it, man. You know it. Yeah, it's kind of like, a pot of water boiling, but ready to steam over,
I like that.
Yeah.
So we know now, I just did a video, without a doubt, former President Barack Hussein Obama, was in on the deep state's actions against President Trump. They have found the emails were on his computer. Unbelievable, because he said he didn't know anything about her server, and unbelievable.
Well, we've been talking about this for a long time about, how it was. We didn't have any proof. We didn't have anybody like saying it. Of course, we were just doing garage talk or something, kind of figuring out what's going to go on in the future and so forth. And so far, it's been about 90% right on the money, Mike. You, me, and Ben,
Well,
Scott.
there's been tidbits, like Judicial Watch all along for the last 3 years has come out with little things they kept getting, like they found out Obama had a pseudonym, which is a fake email account that he wanted to use to email Hillary with so he wouldn't get caught on the .gov one. So little things like that, because they kept seeing emails come into her server or her emails when they got the batch. I'm like, who is this? So they did further background on this weird account name and come to find out it was Obama. So there's lots that's going to come out, lots of lies that have been kicked around for the last 2-3 years. Democrats are going nuts. They won't accept the findings of the special counsel that took 2.5 years. Barr's little. So what do you take of that? The whole, like, he didn't release the 19 pages within 2 to 3 weeks or whatever it was, and then
wasn't it Graham that had something to say about that? About if that's all you guys have, you have nothing. I mean,
it was Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz went on that one. He was like, if that's all.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. But. This is back to the same theory we've had. They're just grabbing at straws, anything, throwing stuff out there to try and get people sidetracked where they won't hear a whole lot of the real stuff. Try and let that fake news release it. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And now they're back to his taxes, and just let us see his taxes now. And it's like, they started the investigation for the Russia collusion. And when that resulted in nothing, now it's like, well, how did he conduct himself during this investigation that led to nothing? We want to look at that too now. It's like, he didn't act cool enough, or he kept talking too much, and he might have obstructed. And it's just every angle they can. There's certain groups out of the left that are, about the taxes. There's ones about the Russia, and they have them all kind of barking at the same time. One gets a little louder than the other when one doesn't pan out. The bottom line is that they need impeachment. They don't want to run against him in 2020. They want to not have him running. They don't want him to be allowed. And certain states are now talking about, we're just not going to put him on the ballot, not give the people a chance to even vote for him. So that's what they truly, truly want. and they thought this would have led to it by now. So they're mad. They're mad at Barr. He's not playing along when they should really be mad at maybe Mueller or whatever for not giving them the result that they wanted. I don't know. So it's gonna be interesting.
Mueller and his team are pretty much all. Remember, Trump was saying, what was it? Ended up being like 23 total. Mad Democrats, not angry. He said mad.
Yeah.
These people tried so hard, to get something on Trump. I mean, they tried even fabricating like we're talking about. It's all coming down to where now we're going to have to really dig into Clinton and Obama. I mean, because there's where the crimes are right there. Well, look, there's already a couple of them going down, Cohen went bye-bye,
Yeah, if that's what they're truly interested in, and we want to get to the bottom of it, it leads back to everyone else. It's unbelievable.
Well, this is all due to them. That's why this investigation stuff even started in the first place. So they done it to themselves, unwillingly, unknowingly. They really thought they could come up with something, or at least turn the public away from President Trump again, so he wouldn't run and they'd go ahead and gain power again. You think?
Well, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I understand some of the, like, if you just look at this in a whole, though, it's like, and if you take Trump's word, all right, he says he's under a tax audit, so that's why he hasn't released them, and maybe he really is. That's the job of the IRS. They know what they're doing. They got computer algorithms. They got people, tons of people. I think some, the one guy off of a show called Jersey Shore had just gone to jail for tax evasion, millions of dollars, didn't pay tax. You see Wesley Snipes, tons of actors in the past, tons of high profile people, because they get caught by the IRS. That's their job. I don't know why the Democrats are screaming about it, like they're going to get it up on Congress and be like, all right, and scan through a couple of line items. But, oh, right here, IRS, you need to look at that, and that's where you'll find your loophole. And they're going to be like, oh, thank you, Chuck Schumer. We never would have thought to look right there. And that, what's the point?
They're looking for financial input from like Russians or somebody else. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for some kind of a paper trail. Any way they can contact or connect President Trump with this Russian deal. But they have to have all the info. Gee whiz, man. Would you release all that stuff? No, Hillary Clinton didn't. Nobody else did,
some journalists went to the like 400 plus members of Congress and asked, like, they put out something like, to show the president, let's get everyone to release theirs, and they've never been done before. And out of like the 400 and plus members, only like 19 or 16 or 13 responded and actually said they'd do it out of all 400. So Pelosi got cornered. Why wouldn't you release yours? They put that they're like, that's something that only the president's supposed to do, not us, and was refusing because some of these people we know about, they only make a couple $100,000 a year up there on Congress, and but they're worth $60 million. How? Let's look at your tax returns. Oh, no, if I ever become president, then I would release them, they say. But they'll, unbelievable. Yeah. So they had a chance as well. But, I'm not covering for Trump. I don't think, any of these people that have to show it, you'd think if they're doing anything malicious, they'd probably already have it covered and not really like have to just hide a simple tax return to not be able to get busted. And if it was anything wrong, then the IRS would have them by the cojones or something because it's been submitted. I just don't. So it's just, again, noise. It's just noise, right? I mean, that's all. It's just to keep noise, distraction.
We all know how, thorough the IRS is. Come on now, like you were saying. The IRS has already done their investigating and da-da-da-da-da. Well, they're under an audit. That ought to be enough for anybody to accept it. I don't care who you are. An audit, that means, nobody can release any information anyway because the IRS is working on it one way or another. But if they've been working on it for this amount of time, you already know that they can't find something. You know what I mean? So it's going to be, cut and dry,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not giving up. That's for sure.
So if we go
But look,
to,
if we all stand together, we don't have to worry about that crap anyhow. You know?
yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People like you, Mike, out there doing this is just fantastic.
yes,
Reaching everybody in the world, man. That's really fantastic. I know it takes a lot of your time to get everything all rounded up and everything. It don't look like it, when people say, "Oh, he was only on for like he did 2, 3 little nitbit shows
yeah,
today."
a little 4 minute,
It
5 minute. Those take an hour or 2 hours sometimes, just depending. And I don't always do it all at once, but sometimes I do. And real quick, Amy the mod, Danielle got the couple of the mods in here. I think that's the only two right now I'm seeing. But good morning, everybody. Good morning, mods. Good morning, patriots. Lots of people telling us good morning, good afternoon, Woodman, Mike. Hey. Good to see everybody. Okay, so Rod Rosenstein, again, here on the keyboard, Woodman. They have all the players in the game, right? There, I can hear you now. So there's Rod, neutral, unknown. See, we don't know. And a lot of people are mad, think he was causing it, but we just don't know. Was he part of the, co-conspirator in the deep state coup against President Trump? But maybe he's been flipped, played a role. These are the things we'll have to kind of wait and see. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, gotta wait for it to come out completely like that. And I still can't believe the Democrats want to see this whole thing. The redacted deals. Come on, man. Let these people do their job correctly. You're the one that blew the whistle on everybody, and use them and let them do their job on you. I mean, hey, let's share all that, man. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see some headlines here. Thought there was something I wanted to. What was that one on? Politico. Let me see here. What have you been watching? There's some. Actually, I got something right here. Hold on. This will be interesting. Reload the page.
Against alleged mobsters,
This is
suspected
today.
terrorists, other criminals. Do you believe that they're engaging in spying when they're following FBI investigative policies and procedures?
Well, that's not the term I would use.
As part of an investigative process, like the investigative process into the 2016 presidential campaign, do FBI agents secure warrants for relevant evidence?
Certainly, securing warrants is a very important step that we take every day in the FBI in lots and lots of investigations.
So I would take that as a yes. And do you believe, Director Wray, that the FBI and its agents spied into the 2016 presidential campaign operation?
Well, again, I want to be careful about how I answer that question here because there is an ongoing Inspector General investigation. I have my own thoughts based on the limited information I've seen so far, but I don't think it would be ripe or appropriate for me to share those at this stage because I really do think it's important for everybody to respect the independent Inspector General's investigation, which I think this line of questioning starts to implicate, and I think it's very important for everybody to be able to have full confidence in his review.
And at this time, do you have any evidence that any illegal surveillance into the campaigns or individuals associated with the campaigns by the FBI occurred?
I don't think I personally have any evidence of that sort.
Thank you.
All right, so FBI chief, they're trying to, this is earlier today, no evidence agency spied on Trump. Now, he said it very clearly, based on the evidence I've seen. So you can go off the mainstream narrative that, you know, we all know there was a spying that happened now, but now it's just a term. When it's all authorized, they don't want to use the word spying. They want to use surveillance. That's the word they like to use. So it's just word porn at this point. Word porn at this point. All right, looks like we lost Woodman. He's frozen. See him? We'll keep him there though. Hey, Woodman. Let me do this till he comes back, if he does. There we go. So you're not getting Trump's tax returns. So they refused to release them. They said the Democrats didn't have a good enough reason, which is about right. We want to overlook the IRS, make sure they were doing their job. All right, so there's still an article I'm looking for here that I came across. I just can't remember. Big League. Give me a second. Rob Schneider, the actor, came out and slams Orwellian nightmare of Silicon Valley censorship. So, yeah. Let me get this off. Because of all the censorship going on. Facebook, all right. Bombshell interview. Nexium whistleblower reveals human trafficking from Mexico involving Satanism and the Democratic involvement. So there was an interview. It looks like it was on the Patriots soapbox Sunday night. Nexium whistleblower Frank Parletto appeared exclusively on the campaign show with Patrick Howley on Patriots soapbox Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, to discuss Keith Raniere's trial, which begins Tuesday. Raniere's sex slaves are poised to testify against him as prosecutors prepare to submit evidence that Nexium illegally bundled money for Hillary Clinton's 2008 presidential campaign. Parletto made it clear that Clinton was happy to accept the money. Court docs confirm prosecutors attempting to introduce Clinton evidence. Parletto described how Nexium imported teenage girls from Mexico, how the cult viewed Chuck Schumer as friendly Democratic ally, and many other bombshells. So they got a video here. Democrat senator and presidential candidate Christine Gillibrand's family ties, the Nexium sex cult, are coming to light, raising serious questions about her relationship with the cult that she once denied even knowing about. So Gillibrand's father and stepmother, who are second cousins, were both heavily involved in the cult in a period shortly before they got married, according to eyewitnesses. Account from ex-Nexium employees. So this is interesting. Who spoke on record to big league politics? And according to court documents proving Gillibrand's father, Doug Rutnick, was employed by Nexium. So this goes on. Yeah, this is going to lead to some other things here, folks. I'd say watch that video. It's a pretty lengthy article here, too. And it should be, because I'm sure it involves a lot of different people. Looks like we got Woodman back. Let me see here. There he is. Woodman in the house.
Hey.
All right.
Sorry, I had to reboot everything, so sorry.
Hey, it happens, brother. It happens. So I was just reading this article here about Nexium. There it is. I wasn't going to read much more of it. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. All right, so All right, got Woodman back. Clinton friend. Yeah, this was a crazy article. It's going to involve, well, we know, all right, the Nexium sex cult. Woodman. It's bad.
Yeah.
There was a whistleblower that went on a show Sunday and talked about some stuff. So anyway, huge Facebook hired former Hillary press director to inform media of Alex Jones ban. Oh, that Cory Booker unveils massive gun grabbing scheme. What do you think of that one?
Wow.
This guy,
wow.
Yep, he's all about it. He's a front run, or one of the lead Democrats that are aggressively talking about gun control and his plans. And
sure, why not take all the guns away from everybody? That way, criminals have a great chance to get away with stuff. You know, well, they just want to be like Venezuela was. You know, like no weapons, and you see what happens there when they had to, you know, try and object to their government. They were, you know, forced to the wall, and they don't have any guns. They don't have any of that stuff. You know, gutsy people down here. But I don't want that in my country. Do you, Mike? Heck no, you don't, man. You know, gee whiz, we have a right. We have a right. We have a right. That's why, you know, it's been that way for a long time, man. You know, it was written that way.
Well, me and Ben were talking about that the other morning or whatever, maybe even, the other morning. It was like, you know, the history books is always written by the winners. Laws are typically, you know, rules are written by the winners. The losers follow them. So if you even look back at like Abraham Lincoln, and he had suspended habeas corpus, so you didn't have, like, you know, and people, if you look at that a certain way, it's like, whoa, that's pretty bad. But yet there was certain people trying to overthrow the government, and sedition was going on, and there was all these little things. And if you only read the certain history or other parts, you can come to conclusions. But what's really written there, and nobody is really alive from then, but there are, you know, records about how accurate. Do you trust the government's records now? Look at 9/11. Building 7, we don't really know. They came out with an official report. In 100 years, that official report stands in the history books. Yeah, all this conspiracy around 9/11, if you think you got, that goes away when you die. It's not the one that stands in the books. So 100 years, 200 years in the future, not a lot of people believe the government narrative of 9/11, but that's what's going to be read by future generations. You know, that's pretty powerful. So, point of that is like what's going on now. You know, how does this go down in the history books with Trump and the deep state? You could read this in 100 years and it looks back like Trump was trying to save sovereignty, and then maybe in 100 years we're in a global economy, and people reading back it's like, wow, look, that was the last attempt of this sovereign thing that they used to have, and wow, how funny, and, you know, kind of makes you think, right?
Right. Well, yeah. But we have to always bear in mind now, people, these are bad people. Now, who would be better to be a criminal and get away with stuff like that than an attorney? Someone who knows all the loopholes and so forth, where, you know, if they're on the good side, that's hooray, hooray, hooray. But if you're on this deep state thing we're talking about, these are, you know, very intelligent people. They're attorneys. You know, who else could be, you know, it's like saying, you know, who could be a better cop, you know? Well, gee whiz, you know, somebody been out there being a criminal, you know, knowing, you know, like what a criminal would do in a certain situation, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, these guys are the highly intelligent, man, you know, and they've been, you know, who else would know more than an attorney about loopholes and, you know, right, Mike? I mean, gee whiz, man.
Yeah, no, they all play dumb. They're all, like you said, lawyers, and they know everything and every word. We were talking about the lead Democrat that's pushing for stuff to be released to them about the, you know, unredacted versions of this Mueller report, and you know, it's like they're sitting in their office and the head guy's like, we need to pull out in the media that we're pulling for this paper. And like, well, you know, we won't get it. That's against outside of our scope of what we're even ever to get. I know, but we're going to do it anyway. And it looks good. And when they reject it, we can go off of that they won't give it to us. But it's like, well, they can't give it to you. It's, you know, but I don't care. And they do it anyway. And it just keeps noise and more noise. And they're not even legally obligated to get that. It's way outside of their scope of what they do. And it's unbelievable. So,
well, the average person doesn't really realize that. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So
that's
yeah.
That's what's crazy. So we are.
When you skim the top of the news, that's all you can see is stuff like that. So you know,
Bless me.
Well, bless you. You know,
Can't stop.
You okay?
No, I just got some allergies going on or sneezing quite a bit.
Sneeze tap your brain out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, better watch it. Yeah, man. Like I'm saying, you know, in all honesty, you know, these people all of them, or 99% of them, are attorneys. You know,
Thank you. Bless me. Thank you.
They really know the law. They really, really do. So you know,
and they know how to
keep.
You know, they know how to say the right things, even if they're doing the wrong thing. It's optics. That's what they said a lot of Trump. If you look at some of the stuff going back now, they're trying to say, well, we were just going a lot of it all. Like James Comey had said, if you just listen to his words and his tweets, we were going off that. He was calling out to WikiLeaks on, you know, during the campaign. So they're acting like you can say things and you're going to be under. I just find it hard to believe that Trump, being a businessman and all this, and we have the biggest intelligence gathering group in the world, the CIA and all these other groups, and they have all the budget they could ever need and money and equipment and technological advances, but they didn't know nothing about Trump until he starts running, and they need to look at his taxes, like they're saying. They need to see if he's working with Russia. You know, that Dianne Feinstein had a Chinese spy in her office in Congress there for 20 years. He was a driver. Now, I know in the military, the drivers for the admirals, they're driving them. Admirals are on their phone nonstop talking. So you had to have certain clearances to even be driving and hearing it. Here's a guy's a Chinese spy. They didn't ever fired that guy. Even the Chinese spy, they let him retire. They didn't press charges. They wiped it under the rug. But they found out he had ties. He was listening to her, going back to the Chinese consulate, and they went and warned her, we think you got a Chinese spy in your office. Oh my gosh, do I? And it's like, oh, wow, he's been here 20 years. Trump, do they go warn him? Trump? Nope. No. They put spies in his thing to see if there are Russian spies. That's what's...
Yeah, isn't that terrible, man? Gee whiz.
Didn't give him a warning as a citizen, like, hey, you might have a spy in your campaign.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I was saying, you know, the average person... You know, life for an average person, is, especially a family, is, you know, time is very precious because you don't have any of it. Like we've been saying for a long time, they get up in the morning, you know, have breakfast or whatever, get the kids around, get them off to school, you go to work, you know, you come home, kids are home from school, you come home from work, you know, burn out, tired, of course, you know, and you do your family greetings and so forth like that. Then you might sit down and have supper, maybe hopefully have a prayer. Then you might like do a little stuff with the kids, maybe go play ball with them, a little soccer with them in your
homework
backyard
or whatever you got.
Well, yeah, and then you try and squeeze in a little bit of news before you go to bed. And the bad thing about it is when people like that, they just skim the top. They don't get a chance to. And I'll stress that they don't get a chance, you know, to check it out themselves because they don't have time. You know, Mike, I'm not saying you, what I'm saying is it takes a lot of time.
Yes.
Even for you, Mike, you spend a lot of time there. Well, they wouldn't know that. So I imagine some people think we're nuts, you know, saying what we're saying, you know? Yeah. Because they believe in the
and I still don't have it all together, and I got probably little areas totally wrong or connections I didn't make, but it's built that way. One person can never figure it all out. There's lots of compartmentalization, plausible deniability all the way through and through. They do that on purpose, folks. Nothing will lead back to these evil people that easily. It's just they don't do it that way. It's set up by design, and it's been going on for thousands of years. All right, Woodman.
You know it. You know it. Yep. I hope President Trump can pull this off again because, listen, he won't be able to straighten it all out in the remaining 6 years, but he sure will give it a major start, a kick in the butt, where we can, as American patriot citizens, have something to hang on to because he'll bring it all out. I can't say all. He'll bring it out, and the American people will deal with it. The patriots, they're going to love it. They're getting our. We don't have to be like the rest of the world, with deep state runs everything. I want to be the one country that doesn't cave. Like show people. We do have freedom here. Like everybody should have. And maybe that might wake people up in their own country where they might, say, look, America didn't put up with that crap. Why should we, Well,
and that's why I think they want to erase us from the history books, and that's why they want us to go this global way that they're pushing so hard. New World Order, globalism, one world, everything. Woodman, because, and then they want to just literally get it out of the history books, so they don't want, when they're in that New World Order, they don't want anything in the history books talking about this country that had freedom and sovereignty, and they were all, they don't want to promote that or having anyone know about that, because this was a test. We were the first to kind of go. That's what the whole thing was with these founding fathers, back, we're doing something new. It's an experiment. We don't know how it's quite going to turn out, and you can kind of see that the global people at work do not like it. It's created headaches for them, and so it's scary. Don't give up nothing, folks. All right, we're going to shut this down and go a few more minutes. Anything to say to the people here, Woodman? I got to shut it down. I got sneezings going on and all that, so I'm going to go figure something out.
Well, all I can say is the true-hearted patriots, be patient because this will come together. Excuse me, and we're gonna get our country back. The neat thing is, by doing everything that hopefully the way things are going to unfold, we ourselves will enjoy our neighbors more so than before, because we will have a special bond about keeping our country together. You know what I mean? That's a really neat thing. Wasn't really designed for that because it's just designed to get our country back. But one thing I want to say again too, everybody's been talking about how President Trump, survived this spying and all that stuff. I really truly believe that JFK Jr. is still alive, and he coached President Trump years before he even ran, because he knew what was going to happen. He knew who would be doing the investigations and how they would do it. And then he had to understand that he had to be very, very patient to let it unfold by itself. Now, President Trump, we all know he's back in the day, he was like, you're fired, you're fired. There was no give, So he changed his attitude on all that stuff, just to get away with straightening our country out. He done it in such a smart way. He let everybody hang themselves. I
got something to add to that. I was watching the Mueller report. It was on Frontline on PBS or something the other night. It was originally aired back in March, late March. So all these other paperwork that we got from Barr that he released a month later that everyone's going crazy about on the left hadn't come out yet. So this documentary is just over the initial one that came out. Of course, Frontline, PBS, that whole narrative, and the people they were showing from the Washington Post are all against Trump. This thing isn't pro-Trump by any means. They went all the way back to the beginning, how it started, but they didn't really have a lot of. That's what we're waiting on to see, this FISA stuff. But they kind of built their little picture and went through. But I was able to watch this and fill in these blanks with stuff that we know. And I was like, whoa. I got at one point in that somebody was talking, and it dawned on me, the old Q post that said, 1999, HRC, JFK, the plane, the start of it all. And it's like, whoa, I think maybe there's been something that started way back in 99, the start of it all. And they've been watching a lot of these people gathering things. Certain people went and did certain jobs. They were already maybe working for this patriotic group to gather intel throughout all these last 18 years. That's what we might end up with for some of these investigations. A big chunk of, now that would be kind of like, wow, how do you just keep watching these people and getting, well, it's kind of like the mob, how they infiltrate the mobs, and that might take a year or two to get to the main guy, right? This was so big, it took people within 18 years, not 2 years, 4 years, because that would be take down a decent sized mob, but this was a worldwide mob of many different facets. So maybe it took, hundreds of years to build up, but 20 years to take down. It's not that long in the scheme of things. We don't want to see everything we're going through last 20 years, but everyone's pretty anxious, right? Like, we need to see indictments and arrests. Yes, we do. But systematically, things went through the courts. Chain of custody. You don't want to ruin any evidence. Like we said, Trump couldn't go slamming Hillary against the wall, arrest her, name off all the stuff that he knew about. Everyone, the courts, the jury, nothing would be admissible. He would have ruined everything by doing it legally. You got to do it legally.
Yep.
I mean, you can't tell the FBI to go arrest somebody when they're crooked. So you had to get them out of there, expose them.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy ride, and we're following along.
Yeah. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. It's coming out wild. Like, you are just right on the head, man. I'm telling you. Again, I'm really glad you do what you do, man. We get a chance to let the common person know what's going on, and when you say something on the show or whatever, people always have a chance to go check it out. Yeah. They always have a chance to check it out, so.
And again, we read a lot of stuff. Some of it's got to be a little wrong, folks. We do our best, but and then articles. Sometimes we read articles, and again, they could be disinformation. We just got to use our discernment and fact checked and look into things. And, we never try to be wrong, and we'll be the first to admit it when we are. We'll apologize. We'll redact. We'll use any word we have to. We don't want to be, wrong CNN all day long and then shove it down your throat. And even when we know we're wrong, we don't give it up. We don't give in. Like, no, we're not wrong. So, all right, let's shut this down. Woodman, brother, we'll do it again, possibly tomorrow. We'll see what the schedules hold for us. You're going to vote early. We got some voting going on. Woodman's involved, so go get that done. I'll talk to you later. Send me a text, and we'll plan something for the future here. All right, guys. We'll see you later back here. This is going to premiere maybe later tonight on the Patriot Hour at about 8 o'clock. So join in for a second round of live chat, and we appreciate it. God bless, Godspeed each and every one of you, and have a great afternoon into your evening.
Pray.